bit about this because, one of the things that I'm learning in this industry is the support you have as colleagues and gal pals, right? And what is it that connects you both so much? Like you both love each other. The fun, the energy, the excitement you guys have, like every time if you both are there, you usually see me tagging along because
That's right.
I just want to be there.
Do you want to be in the circle?
I want to be in the circle. So tell us a little about that circle. Kay, why don't you start? Why don't you tell me a little bit about that circle and the importance of having supportive gal pals in our industry?
Well, I have to give it to Kelly. So, I do think no matter how good you are, you should constantly challenge yourself. And, even as a coach or as even with the director of Binco, you still wanted to make sure you improved. And so I watched Kelly one year do like this speaker spotlight. And I remember I said to her I said, I want to do it. She goes, you're going to do it the next year and we're going to make sure it happens. And she literally coached me the entire year. She took me into her circle and she walked me through what I was going to do. She was there the entire time, told me, everything I needed to know, 100% supportive. And I can't thank her enough for that. So she got to see me win the following year and I couldn't have done it without her. So what we mean by that circle is really and truly, you're always there for each other. Whether we go somewhere and someone forgets something, you don't have to worry. We're going to take care of you. Whether you have a client and you're maybe struggling with it, well, call me and, let me help you with some advice. I think that having someone else that can help you and support you in that manner and not judge you at all is fantastic. And I couldn't ask for a better friend in Kelly and Steve.
We are, yeah. I mean, our circle has become a little legendary. Those of you that are on with us today that have traveled to some of the conferences and things, that when the conference is over, when the speaking event is over, the circle is going out and hitting the town. No matter what city we're in, we're going to tear it up. So we love to have fun. Minal, I love that you used the word abundance earlier. That's probably one of my favorite words and most impactful words for me in my life and what I do in general, not just in career-wise, but also personally. And that's really, Kay hit the nail on the head. It's not, there's no competitiveness, even though, people could look at where Kay and I have been at different points in our career, and you could say that we were direct competitors, perhaps during some of those times. We never looked at it like that. Like I tell our dentists and our dental team members and practices, there are enough teeth on this planet for all of us. There are enough dental practices and businesses that want to grow and want to have more fun doing it for all of us. So that word abundance is just right on the mark, Minal.
Kelly, why don't you tell us about a couple of tips on what they can do to, start on the right foot in 2021?
So I think it is a mindset. I think that 2020 really exposed a vulnerability that was there all along for a lot of us. And, complacency is the enemy. And sometimes when practices or businesses are doing well for a period of time, it's easy to kind of take your foot off the gas and put it on cruise control. And 2020, really upset the apple cart for everyone in terms of status quo and cruise control. So the practices that have had the mindset of evolution, the practices that have had the mindset even when times were hard in previous challenging economies or during life challenges, maybe that's an owner of the practice had, when they had the mentality of trying to thrive instead of survive, those are the practices that really we have so many, and I'm sure Kay does too. We have practices that are having their best year ever in the history of their practice. Some of them have been in practice 25, 30 years. In 2020, even though, we had mandatory 4 or 5 month shutdown, complete shutdown. So to think that you could have your most productive year in the middle of a worldwide pandemic with all of the horrific reality of this year just goes to show you the potential if you have the right mindset. And so I would encourage those doctors and dental team members and business people on the call today that feel a little stuck right now in this 2020, a lot of doom and gloom. Oh, it's 2020. It's everything's bad because it's 2020. If you can kind of flip the switch in your brain now for the remainder of this year and get yourself fired up about how you're going to thrive instead of survive in 2021, anything is possible.
Okay, tell us a little about you. How are you? I know I have seen firsthand how you have done incredible in 2020, but what about the doctors? What can
I
you
will say,
tell them?
yeah, I will say this, I've only done good because of all my friends that I've surrounded myself with who've helped me, keep going. It was really important to me to make sure that we kept all the information going out to offices because they didn't know what was going on. That everybody was kind of like digging for information. And, I think my last flight was March 17th. I flew to the doctor's office and they said, oh no, you can't come in. So I had to turn around and fly home. Well, on my flight home, I remember thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Like, what are we going to do differently? Like, how are we going to get the word out? We never stopped. We started our webinar series and we have gone strong ever since then. And of course, we've brought on a lot of our speakers. And, if you ask me, what should doctors do differently? I'm doing a workshop tomorrow on this. So it's going to be, how do you close out this year and how do you re-engage next year? And I'm really excited about it. And some of the things that I will tell you, I think is really important, Minal, is that we do have to change the way we're thinking. We still need to do what we're doing today. Like if you're not communicating with your patients through teledentistry or, some way of letting them see you prior to coming in, I think it's really important to figure out a way to make that happen because, when they come in, they're only going to see this much of you. So figure out a way that you can do it right now. Make time in your schedule to say, I'm going to do some web conferences. I'm going to meet my new patients prior to them coming in. I think that's going to be super important. We have to change the way we're thinking and we have to actually make time on our schedule for that. And the other big thing that I would say is, there's a lot of our doctors, Kelly, I don't know about you, but they were slow at going paperless. They were slow at introducing technology, and I know it's this fear because it's an investment, but you have to invest it. I mean, you definitely want to make sure that you keep your patients safe and your team members safe. Get rid of paper. You don't need paper in your practice. Work on going chartless, work on using teledentistry. Those are the things that I would say in 2021, if you haven't done it, please make sure that you do it. And then the other big thing I would say is also make sure that you have your social media working. So if they're not working with you, they need to start working with you because we're not pros at that. And, sometimes they just put a team member in charge of it. And I think it's okay, but they need to team them up with an expert so that that information that they're sending out can be received to their patients and in a good way. So, Minal, I wouldn't have done it as well as I had if it hadn't been for your support.